Oh my god. I am so tired. It's 5:43.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.
Okay, it's a big day. It's a very scary day. Well, I guess it's not a scary day because we're not starting just yet.
Getting closer, though.
But we are today 134 days away from race day. Honerkamp, explain the next 2.5 weeks because training starts on
February 5th, Monday.
February 5th, 2.5 weeks. First and foremost, Honerkamp is my new coach for BQ or Bust. Josh moved to Colorado, still one of the greatest, grooviest humans on the face of the planet, but I need someone with me, beside me, encouraging me. I'd say yelling at me, but you don't yell at me. You
I'll get
make
better
me
at
laugh.
it. I'll get better at it.
You, as a human friend, saw me try this last 2 times. What are we working on?
Well, we're
I'm
gonna
sweating.
use what we learned in the last 2 journeys.
Yeah.
So that's not lost. Even the second one, when you had some injuries and some bumps in the road, there's still value that you will gain from that. That experience doesn't go away. So
Yeah.
oftentimes, if you don't hit a certain goal, it's a failure. Well, it wasn't a failure because you learned a lot about yourself and training and actually how to deal with adversity, which is actually going to be really helpful. Hopefully, we'll deal with less adversity as far as injury and sickness, and maybe it's just some issues here and there. But it's good to know that you can push through even when things aren't going well.
Yeah.
And so that'll be valuable. And it's just learning from what we did before, knowing your strengths and weaknesses and playing to those a little bit, but also challenging you where you're weak and not ignoring those.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be the biggest hurdle and obstacle that I'm going to have to, fight through this go-around?
Well, part of it is, although today in New York it's 61 degrees.
It's amazing out.
So but last week it was 6 degrees. I was talking to the gentleman who sold me this coffee. Brought to you by coffee. And he said it was going to be 1 degree in a couple days. So it's up and down. So weather is challenging here in the Northeast.
This is my first time I've ever trained through winter.
Which sometimes I think is better than summer sometimes because you can just put layers on. Whereas in the winter, in the summer, you're
strip.
It's like
I'm good at
you can stripping, but then you only do that so much, and it only does so much. So
yeah.
I think the weather, the fact that it goes ebbs and flows, really cold, really warm, is tricky, and then the fact that especially on those cold days, or the days where last 2 quality Tuesdays were snow, and
yeah.
I wouldn't even call what I did was quality. I got out there and I ran some hills. So I think the weather is going to be a challenge, but luckily it gets better and better as we go through the training process. You'll get fitter and fitter. So those are kind of in tandem. Not that it'll get easier fully because you do add more volume and more work, but I think weather and just staying healthy. Obviously we need to do the cross training, do the strength training, and some of all the PT drills that your PT guy, even though he left you, you still need to do those. Do those little things. Stay on top of your shoes and in gear and making sure that you're as healthy as possible.
I have to get shoes.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten shoes in so long. I haven't gotten shoes since July.
Well, you have 2.5 weeks. Let's definitely make sure we have shoes when we start.
Ugh. Okay, so shoes, check. Everything else, check. Speaking of these 2 weeks, what is a good thing to do if you know you're going to start training in 2 weeks, 4 weeks? For me, it's 2.5 weeks. What can I do this weekend, this next week, and the week after to, put me in... Because of what? Fitness takes 3 weeks?
The 3-week kind of cycle, I guess.
So everything I do right now, I won't feel for 3 weeks.
Right.
which is fine because I've been working and we're working towards it. But what can I do to put myself in the best position to start on February 5th in a strong mental and physical mindset?
First, enjoy this
body.
Enjoy the lack of structure, because once February 5th rolls around, we'll be
That's
adhering.
true.
So I always say that after a program's over, it's like you're used to that regimen, and all of a sudden it goes away, and it's nice initially, and then you're freaking out because you don't have that again. But enjoy the flexibility you have, and not that we won't be flexible when the program starts, but enjoy some freedom to do different things and move things around, and then try to do some structure as far as if you like to do long runs on Saturday, try to do your long runs the next 2 Saturdays. And now the long runs might be only 8 miles or 6 miles or 10 miles, depending on where everyone is and where you're at. But this way, when it starts, you already kind of have your Tuesday quality work kind of on your schedule and in that routine. Doesn't have to be super specific, but the quality day on a Tuesday and the long run on Saturday, try to get those down. And the other days, you still have some more freedom. So on the 5th, that rolls around, week 1, you already have your routine down, or at least close to it.
Literally, that's the thing that I'm most nervous about. Just now, we looked at the training plan, and looking at that first week, I was like, oh my God. What's the best way to wrap your brain around that? And this is new. Like, I don't think I've ever been a little trepidatious about, like, getting back into it. I think I know what to expect this time, and yes, I'm excited, and I know it's going to be fun, but I am also... I know it's hard now, and I know it's only going to get harder.
Well, you also look at like a 16-week training block.
Yeah.
And it's like everything's ahead of you.
Yeah.
So you've done none of it. So as far as there's a big uphill battle. So when you're 2 or 3 weeks in, it's just kind of a work, like an interval workout. Say you're doing 6 times 800. The first, you have 6 of them. Oh God. Then you do 1, kind of warm up, ease into it. 2, okay, I went out too fast. I adjusted. You do the 3rd one, you're halfway done. You do the 4th one, you're going down.
Yeah.
And then the last one, you always finish strong. It's kind of like that. Once you get a couple weeks in, then it's not all ahead of you. There's some behind you, and you're learning and getting fitter. You might have we'll have some kind of training races or quizzes that'll keep us mentally before the final exam, which is the marathon.
Final exam.
So, but yeah, when it's all ahead of you, it's exciting, but it's also like the unknown. How is this going to go?
And it literally feels unsurmountable. Like
it's just a big uphill. And then you taper at the end, great. But most of it is a gradual increase. Now we'll have some down weeks, and not every week is a long run. There'll be a kind of an on-off week where it's 1 week of higher volume, and then a second week of lower volume, and then the 3rd week, that type of thing where it's hard, easier.
Yeah.
But it's really just, instead of having this, a lot of people will count down. Oh, I got 6 long runs left, and it's like this dreading thing. You should be like, oh, I have 6 long runs left to learn and to grow and to get. It's cheesy, but it's one of these things where enjoy the training versus dreading it.
Yeah, I learned that.
And that's why you need to find running groups or coaches or different other groups, like we worked out this morning with the Member Project. It wasn't a super structured running workout, but we ran, we did some strength, and it's fun, and it's good to have those opportunities and communities to draw upon, because you don't always have to be super specific. It's okay to go out and run whatever, and if it's the Member Project, which can be kind of random, and you're doing partner things and you're all over the place, that's good for training, I think, as long as you're doing the stuff you need to do.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of quizzes and checking in along the way, we're for sure doing a half marathon in Virginia Beach on St. Patrick's Day. That's a race that we can talk about. What do you think would be the most beneficial in terms of like going out there and like seeing where I'm at? Because for me, I think the most important thing is, I can go out there and race a 5K, but the half marathon distance specifically, maybe a 10K, longer stuff, and helps me because I would say my Achilles heel is doubt, and I could build myself up all day long and visualize myself in the moment saying yes to pain, but like when you're at mile 10 and you still have a ways to go, or when you're at mile 20 or 18, me convincing myself that it's worth it is my biggest hurdle. So racing, like how often should I be racing and checking in and getting those tests and like just like getting experience? Because I can do it in tempo runs, but...
Right. Yeah, you don't want to race too much, but I think whenever I have races on the calendar, I'm more likely to train because I'm like, oh, I have a 5K this weekend. I better train because if I don't train, that's going to hurt more.
Yeah.
And so it's almost that fear factor of like, especially if I'm coming into form or coming into fitness. it really hurts more.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't want to over race. But I think a lot of the races that I do, and they might be sometimes every other week or especially here in New York, there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of different races. I use them as tempo runs. And so they're hard. I'm not really racing where I'm going all out every week. So I think racing once a month is probably healthy.
Okay.
Our half, I think, is week 6. I have a 16-week program. So we probably will do a 10-miler or another half, maybe 4 or 5 weeks out. It is kind of fun to do a 5K or a 4-miler because they're quick, and it is fun to work on both ends of the speed spectrum where we're doing some speed and getting faster. Because the faster you can run a 5K or a mile, the faster you can run a marathon.
Yeah.
You need to do the volume with the 5K. You know, you can't just train for the mile and expect it to run faster for the marathon. But again, the faster your paces get, the faster you can run the marathon.
Yeah.
So it's like the bigger your base, the higher the peak. The faster you can run a mile is the faster you can run a 5K. The faster you can run a 5K, the faster you can run a 10K and half and so on.
Yeah.
Maybe the ultras that's a little different kind of algorithm to deal with, and I've never run an ultra, so
I don't know. It's a different world.
But so it's really, I think it's fun to have quizzes, and sometimes, especially with some of the programs we'll use, is that data that you get changes to trajectory. I can't say that. Trajectory.
Trajectory.
So if maybe you have a certain goal in mind, obviously be cure or bust. That's where the ultimate goal is. But are we qualifying by 10 seconds? Or are we qualifying by 5 minutes?
I think 3:30 should be the goal. Do you think that's realistic?
Yeah.
I did 3:41 in Chicago, but that was a year and a quarter ago. And I haven't been in shape for May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 8 months.
So you have fresh legs.
I mean, do you think that's kind of... It's definitely like that is like the impossible goal.
Right.
What do you think is a realistic, like 3:35? Because best case scenario, I qualify for Boston and don't get in. I don't have to run it.
Right.
And then I can be done with marathons forever.
Well, it's oftentimes people
I'm just
qualify for
kidding.
Boston and they are in terrible shape for Boston because they got in, they qualified,
And then you're like,
and then
screw
they
it.
They didn't. That was
I'm out.
That was the goal, not necessarily running Boston fast, which is fine. Yeah, I think it's one of these things where as we get closer, we'll know more and more now.
Yeah.
But based on what I know, it's definitely possible. What happened this time, we'll find out.
Yeah.
But obviously, you want to get faster than last time, or your current PR.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that the only thing that got in my way last time was the mental game. And I feel like had I had people with me to like help me stay motivated and with it and excited, and so when shit really hurt, I would have totally done it. But then again, it's easy to say that when it didn't happen. But I genuinely think that. And this time around, like, I'm not going to be alone. I'm not racing alone. Are you racing with me?
maybe. Yeah, I mean...
You don't have to.
I'm planning on running, whether I run for myself or run with you. I guess it depends what type of shape I get in, too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be fun for John because he's planning on getting in shape.
I need to walk the walk as well, so...
And you're already, like, can smoke me
Well, you never know. It's...
all day long.
I ran Paris. I ran 3:55 in Paris because I didn't care what my time was and I didn't train. And it was really hot and it was almost like a first anniversary of my life.
Coach!
Yeah, that's right.
Coach!
But I went from like, maybe I'll run 3:05 with Ragnar because he wanted to qualify for Boston, to I don't think I'm going to break 4. Like, it was hot and I was miserable. So I will run the race. It's just whether I run with you or...
There's more coming. We'll update you on that as we, in the next, 3 weeks of what this is going to happen, because there's a lot coming. There's a lot coming.
Just wait for it.
Wait for it, because you are all going to be a part of this. All right. Last question, and you don't have to answer this, but you've watched me train, you've ran next to me and seen me do kind of... I guess you've never really seen me do a tempo run, but you've seen me track workout.
Right.
You saw my last track workout before London where I was ready to... You've seen me puke.
I have. You're really good at it.
I forgot that. What do you think are the things that I should be really focusing on?
One thing I've noticed with your track work is that you actually are pretty quick. As far as when I say speed, it's like 400, 200 intervals, which aren't typically marathon-based workouts. But I can tell that you have more fun running the shorter intervals. So as a smart coach, I'm going to incorporate volume, shorter intervals. We still have to do the longer stuff, the tempo runs, but and we obviously do, maybe we'll do some mile repeats, which are probably going to be awful. But you want to cater sometimes to the strengths too, and not just work on the weaknesses. So you're good at that. I think you have more fun. So we might do workouts where it's 20 times 200 because it's fun and it's not just the longer stuff. But we do have to work on the longer stuff and the concentration, and that's where the tempo runs come in, where the tempo runs get stretched out where they're as long, and you're kind of in. Tempo runs are really just uncomfortable paces.
Yeah.
It's, you can keep going, but you're happy you're stopping. That's typically in the marathon. Obviously, at the end, you want to stop at all costs. But if you're at mile 18 and you're tired, which you should be, you start looking at, I got 8 miles to go, and that's daunting. But then you live in the present and you say, can I run to the next block? Yes. So it's more of that, just training the mind and callousing the mind as well as callousing the body. But I think I did, before New York at Off the Hook Track Club, I had a couple people do, I think I ran Staten Island or the Bronx. They were back-to-back weeks. And I was like, I don't want to go to the track and do repeat thousands or miles. Let's do 4s and 2s, just because I personally
want to do that.
Just wanted to mix it up. And some of the women in the group were doing New York. And I think someone was like, we're doing 200s? So my boyfriend was like, you can't do 200s. So I was like, yeah, we're doing volume 200s. We're not running all-out 200s like we're running the training for the 800 meters. But it's okay to do things that you might not think are marathon specific if it's something that you enjoy and it's a break from the long runs and the longer stuff. So it's fine. My coach at college used to say, he's a bad coach. If I love to jump rope and I swear by jumping rope, he's a bad coach by not incorporating jumping rope into your regimen. Even if you think it's not going to help you, as long as it doesn't hurt you, do jump rope for 10 minutes, buddy. And so I always remember that as if things that you like to do them. Knowing that you do have to do the things that you don't like. If you hate hills, for sure, we should do hills.
I like
hills. If you hate long runs, we need to do those.
I can crush hills all day long.
So finding, allowing you to, people, I think often the workout connotation is you have to suffer, it has to be awful.
Yeah. Most
of marathon training is actually easy running.
Yeah.
So that is more running with friends, running with groups, finding people to run with your long runs so you have some company.
Yeah.
That was Carly's issue. I ran with Carly Kloss for New York, and she would stop because she was mentally bored. Maybe I'm not that interesting, but it wasn't that she was tired. It was more that she was like, she started listening to books on tape, and she was able to run longer because she was distracted. That's what my job sometimes is. It's just the art of distraction. That's what I do on race day. That's
why I took selfies with guys behind me.
I'm distracting
I needed a distraction.
I'm trying to get you to not think about how you're feeling and thinking about other things sometimes. They say, think in the moment, live in the moment. The marathon, sometimes you need to zone out because you can't concentrate for 4, 5, 6 hours. That's a tall order. So
3.5.
Yeah, well, in this case, 3.5. So, but I think it's going to be fun to get on the track. For those of you that are terrified of the track, embrace it because it's fun. It's more fun, and
it is so fun. You get to walk.
There's no such thing as too slow or too fast. You're slow and you're fast based on what you need to do for that day. But go to the track and do 8 times 1 lap with a minute rest. That's an interval workout.
Yeah, it's fun too.
And that's how you learn paces. You get fitter, you learn more about yourself. And typically there's other people around. Even if they're not with your group, they're walking or someone else is doing exercises. You don't have to know the community that you're around. You're still in it. And I think sometimes that you can draw upon just the environment, even if you don't feel comfortable. I think part of that is getting used to being uncomfortable. That's a perfect segue to the marathon is we need to be uncomfortable for a long time. But in the beginning, you need to enjoy it and obviously not be going out too fast. But all those workouts are designed to get you fitter. But I think more importantly, to train the mind, like to your point of being, maybe that was what some of your setback or your issue that you need to work to have more focus on. But
for sure.
So I think that you get stronger and more confident with all the work you do.
I think had I not, because that's what I worked on a lot the second time around, and I think had I not been doing that, there's no way in hell I would have finished London. I just would have said, this is the worst, and I'm done. But I had that, you can keep going. You can keep going.
We want to try to enjoy most of this, knowing that some days will really, really suck, and you kind of throw them out the window. We might not know why a certain day felt awful, but it's good to have some bad days, because on Marathon Sunday or Saturday or whatever day of the week it is, if you've never had a bad run and then you have some adversity on race day, you're screwed. So I was like,
I've had a lot of adversity.
when people say they have my long run was terrible, I actually like that. Now, if they have 5 long runs in a row that are bad, they're probably overtraining or there's something else going on. They're anemic or they're just running too many miles. But I want some adversity in your training, so then on race day you're prepared for it.
Yeah.
Just like the weather. In a day like this where it's raining, if it's going to snow 10 inches tomorrow, run today versus tomorrow as far as the long run. But it could snow on race day. So there's times where you need to...
Better not.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Although I'll choose a little bit of drifty snow over hot as balls.
Yes.
But who knows? And I'm not worrying about it. Like, this time around, this absolutely is about the week. I am not looking ahead. I am looking at each individual week. I know what to expect this time. Thank fucking God. The first time was just panic. And this time, like, I genuinely am excited to kick my ass and get back to that strong shape. I miss that strong shape. And I think you're in the same place I am.
Yeah, I'm not sitting over here, like, super fit. I have an 8-week daughter at home that needs me to be around for college graduation, so...
Oh, please. You're not.
But it's, I'm excited to be...
We're going to kick...
Yeah.
Everyone's kicking each other's asses, and we're excited to do it.
You get me out the door. I'm on an 18-day running streak through this terrible winter because I can call you and you're a mile away. That really helps me get out the door, so...
That's true. You know, time to move. That's a great place to end. Thanks, Garmin.
Move. I love when it says move after like a 20-mile run. And like, did you know I ran 20 miles? Why are you telling me to move?
Why are you doing this to me? All right. Woo! Woo, woo, woo!
2.5 weeks to liftoff.
Spill the bass.
All about the bass. No
All
trouble.
about that bass. All that bass. All right. Stay tuned because there's some crazy shit coming. The end. Beep, beep, beep.